Hey everyone, Richard Metal Fan here, bringing you guys a brand new 2018 album review. And today we're going to be reviewing the new album from my home state, a new album from the band Sevendust entitled All I See Is War, which came out today, or yesterday, I should say. Now, everybody should probably at least know or at least heard of Sevendust. They're a metal band from Atlanta, Georgia. Gotta represent the A-Town boys, you know what I'm saying? And these guys, they've been around since, well, the year I was born, 1994. And they've been putting out albums since their debut self-titled album, which came out in 97. And Sevendust, for me, is like still one of those bands I've first loved, that I still love to this day, since I first heard them back in like 7th, 8th grade. And they still stuck with me to this day. And honestly, they're one of those bands that with every album out, there's a bad album in their discography. Like every album is just spot on. And this album, of course, is the follow-up to 2015's Kill the Flaw, which I thought was a pretty good album. But does this new album live up or exceed expectations for what Kill the Flaw has? In my honest opinion, I think it probably has. Like, the production on this album is just superb. Like, everything is where it needs to be. And the vocal work. Let's just talk about the vocal work from LeJean Witherspoon. Like, his voice he's pretty much sounds like 1,000 times like better. Like, I mean, he's always been a good vocalist, one of the best vocalists I've heard, but damn, he really shines well on this album. Like, he just puts so much emotion and feel into the songs. You could definitely just feel what he is singing about. And that's just one thing I love about his voice. Is just really just one of a kind, very superb. Just, you can definitely feel the way he conveys himself in the songs. Just really great. Guitar wise, I mean, John Connolly and Clint Lowry's guitar playing is just really superb. Like, some really great riffs and stuff. That's just one thing I love about Sevendust, is just the riffs are just fucking superb. The bass playing from Vinnie Hornsby is pretty audible. You could definitely pretty hear it well in the mix. And drumming wise, like Morgan Rose, one of the sickest drummers I've heard. Just amazing. I've actually met him a couple times, but you know, funny enough, I've never seen Sevendust live, and I've been dying to see them live. And I really hope they play a show in Atlanta, because if they do, I'm fucking there. But that's besides the point. Let's dive into this album track by track. Now, the album opens up with the song Dirty, which kind of like lyrically kind of like talks about like war and sort of like veteran fans, and has some really great chugging riffs, just some really harmony vocals, killer drums, and a glorious chorus. You could just tell that it is pure Sevendust, and there's an amazing guitar solo and breakdown sort of worth hearing. The band has said sort of like there was like a vibe was going for more of the compact tracks, similar to like something from like Home, and it has a definitely good flavor to it. And then we go into God Bites His Tongue. It has sort of some really great machine gun fire riffs, and it's just overall good song. Medicated, which is the third track on here is sort of like a must listen, a slow boiling riff parade. Such a heavy, head nodding chunk of a verse riff, and it gives way to sort of like a very memorable chorus. The singing on this is really soulful. One of the best like vocal bands I've heard, just like I mentioned, and not just from LeJean, but just collectively. It just sounds amazing. Unforgive Then has some really, really great riffs, and just the licks and just is pretty good. I can't even speak today, sorry. And then Sickness is another gorgeous sounding track. Like, almost kind of like like Sevendust made like a power ballad or something, but it just sounds really heavier. And typical fashion, a lot of the lyrics just move you and take you through like a range of emotions on every track. And it has another slick solo in there, making this sort of like a rare album for the band with multiple solos. Cheers is sort of like an interesting, another song, sort of has like a funky posty kind of vibe to it, with a very bouncy type riff. If then the song could do some major damage on like a radio, and just like the refrain on We Hold Our Own is going to stay with you for a while after the song is over. Or Risen is probably the most brutal song on the entire album, and I feel like it would go live well, and I really hope if I ever see them and they play the song live, it would just be like, holy shit. Moments has some really insane drum fills from Morgan, who's always trying to like top himself on there. It's a pretty good song, like drumming wise. And then we go into Not Original, which is pretty much the most interesting song on the album. It also kind of starts off kind of have a little bit of a synthy type intro, sort of like cascading guitar parts and sort of like very anthemic lyrics. And it really has some new ground for the band in a lot of the ways. And now we'll talk about the last 3 tracks on the album, which are Descend, Life Deceives You, and The Truth. Are pretty solid tracks altogether in their own way. Right, which kind of like reminds you of something that would be off of like Seasons or Chapter 7, Hope and Sorrow. But like I said, the latter song, The Truth, really just is a strong way to end this album. It just closes out strong and just perfect. Now overall, the All I See Is War by Sevendust is another solid addition to their discography. If I were to give this album a score, I'd probably give this album a solid 8.5 out of 10. It's pretty good. If you're a fan of Sevendust, or if you want to get into them, I recommend checking out all their albums, but also listen to their new album as well. It's pretty good. Probably would be one of my albums of 2018 so far. But yeah, that's my review of the new Sevendust album, guys. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about it, and I'll see you all in the next video, and keep it metal.